So you're thinking of selling your home to a fast cash buyer? I'm going to give you the tips and tricks and help you avoid the common pitfalls. Now, I'm a real estate attorney and a broker. I've also renovated and flipped homes with a person in my office named Phil Mills. Phil's done this. He's flipped over 100 homes and renovated them. We did a few together, but I think I've got more of my experience representing estates, foreclosed properties, short sales that needed a lot of work, and I also for trustees. So a lot of times, a lot of the properties that are in a state of disrepair, it's because old people were living out their final years in them and they didn't spend a lot of money on the home, and they've been dated. They're like 30, 40 years old. The kitchens need work. So I've sold a lot of those properties, and I can tell you that from my experience, I learned a lot of things helping people sell homes. And the first tip off the bat I would tell you is, if you're trying to do this on your own, just so you can suss out the real ones from the fake ones, if you talk to enough buyers, so I'm saying absolutely solicit multiple offers, you can ask your buyers to give you their pro formas, because almost all these investors that are doing this as a business have a pro forma. They figured out what the ARV is, the after repair value. Then they think about offering 70%, maybe a little bit more, minus their costs. And they'll have it in their forms. They'll talk about how much the property will cost to fix up and what their vision for the property is. And there could be a discrepancy in price because some people are willing to put more into it than others, but they shouldn't, if they're putting in less, they shouldn't have that same ARV. So you'll be able to see the ones that are professional. Just the fact that they can produce a nice ARV will give you a chance to be closing with the right buyer. So let me go through my list that I prepared, and I'll see if I can add to it as we go through it. So now the benefits of selling to a fast cash buyer is that you wouldn't have to pay a buyer's agent for sure, and you maybe don't have to pay a listing agent. You don't have to fix up your property if you don't want to. I still say, the attorney in me says, you absolutely should still do your disclosures no matter what, even if people don't want, because those disclosures still give professional investors, and many have real estate licenses, so they know, they still give them outs and even ability to come after you later, because many buyers also have their licenses so they can sell their home without a realtor later. So they know all these rules from the exams and the training they got to pass the realtor exam. So they are professionals, but do not let yourself sleep at night. Make sure they get your disclosures. So anyway, you've decided to sell your home for the convenience to a fast cash buyer, but I would still say, if you have any time at all, because most fast cash buyers are still going to take 7 to 10 days to close. It's possible you could see a cash offer in 48 hours from someone, but it's going to be super low, well below where it needs to be. And I still say get multiples of those, because there could be a difference in pricing. But like, if they're telling you that they'll have the cash for you in 48 hours, maybe some of these things I'm telling you don't apply, because you'll say, is the money here today? And if not, then you're like, I don't believe these people anymore. I better go do it a different way. So, you want it, and my advice is always, whether I'm working with lawyers, ask me to sell properties for estates or for them, or trustees, or, professional representatives of, estates, I say, I think we should explore multiple avenues. Let's put the property in social media in the MLS. Let's talk about it being a fixer-upper or opportunity for an investor. So when they do their screenings, it shows up. Let's take in offers from them. I have an email list because I've sold a lot of properties. I probably have 100 different investors asking me to contact them when I have fixer-uppers. And I would say 20 of them are probably still in San Diego, because a lot of them moved right before COVID when the prices were getting high and their profit levels were getting squeezed. A lot of them, like Phil, went to Arizona where they could flip 3 homes for the same prices and risk as one. But I still get contact at least twice a week from investors asking if I have flippers. So properties that they could buy fast. So you use the MLS, you contact the fast cash buyers, as I advised my brother when he was selling a condo. I said, why not see if these offer pads and other eBuyers want to offer you strong numbers. Realtors, I have multiple avenues to eBuyer types. In another video, I can tell you that many times we're all going to use the same model and come in around the same area. And so really you're like, well, they're paying a little more. Do I think they're going to close? If the answer is yes, you might as well sell the one that gives you a little bit more money. Now, in addition to the fast cash buyers and the eBuyers, there are investors that are different, that are investors that are buying to fix properties and turn them into rentals. There are investors who are buying maybe for family members. So they might pay more. Like on the spectrum of buyers, you've got the fast cash buyers who can generally close quickly And as I said, well, we'll go through the pros and cons. Then there will be people buying for their own portfolios, own investments. They like to win. If they like your property, it's the right place. It's near their other properties. So they're frequently willing to pay more than the fast cash buyers because they don't have to flip it out for $80,000 to $100,000 profit. So they want to get in and own the property. So they're usually the strongest buyers. You can also have people who are looking to move into your home, don't mind fixing it up, but they have got cash. Because generally end buyers are going to have mortgages, but your property may be different. There might be in nice areas where people want to move in and they're willing to fix them up to make them just like they want. Those would probably be the best buyers if your property is in a state that would be difficult to get lender money for. So, end users, investors, eBuyers, fast cash buyers. I don't know who will be paying the most. There's a chance if you ask, like normally I'd say, if you engage me as a realtor to help you do this, do your disclosures, monitor the sale, make sure you're not getting tricked by wholesalers who are trying to lock up your property and putting on the MLS for 7 days and looking for those strong cash buyers. I'm not then also going to say, oh, by the way, we'll buy your property from you. But if you wanted to, you could call us up and say, John, I'm looking for an offer from you. And Phil will go out to the property and Phil and I will decide how much we can offer. But I can tell you that's not my goal here. I'm not looking necessarily for me to be the end buyer. But I do have investors in my database, and I even have the ability to get you offers on your property online in 24 to 48 hours. And if enough people are responding, I'm also going to put you in the pipeline where you can see them within 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. So you can see that there's many ways to get buyers. And I think you should, if you can, always take in as many offers as possible. For instance, my brother had no idea that Zillow was going to overpay for their property and pay him far too much so that even after they fixed it up 3 or 4 months later, I don't think they even sold it for what they bought it for. So that's why Zillow is out of the business. But sometimes that happens. You just have to make sure you suss it out. You don't want, if it's a fresh young face who's offering you way too much for your property, I would say I'd want to see that person on their phone showing me the money in their bank account to do the deal. Because those people are frequently trying to tie up your property for 30 days. They're called wholesalers. And then they try to flip it out to their database. And they call it middleman, they call it middling, to make a quick $15,000 to $25,000. Let's avoid those people because that money should go in your pocket. Now, typical closing times. I can say in the deals I've represented for our estates, they haven't been that concerned about selling in 48 hours. And most of these people who want to close in 48 hours, they don't. We've called a few of them up and have them come out of the properties. They still want 7 to 10 days. So I'd say the fast cash buyers are looking at 7 to 14 days. I suspect you could get a real if you insisted on the phone, I need cash in 48 hours, you need to come out today and make me an offer within 24 hours. You could probably find those people, but those people are business people. They're going to be a little bit leery. They're going to offer you far less than you could get in 7 to 14 days. So if you're waiting that 7 to 14 days, I'd say put it on the MLS now. Why would I say that? Well, there's flat fee listing agents who can advise you and help you, and you no longer have to offer compensation to buyer's agents. So that's 2 or 3%. You don't have to offer to buyer's agents, and it's not even going to be ignored on the MLS, because if the buyer's agents have buyers they want to get paid, they're going to send over offers. They're going to solicit information about whether you're looking to pay the money. And I'd advise my sellers, why not see? You say, hey, look, we're going to be looking at the highest net. Make your best offer. Ask for your commissions. We'll check it out, and they come on over. Now, you might counter out their terms in the future, but why not bring in investor buyers? You no longer have to decide I'm offering 2 or 3% to buyer's agents. The buyer's agents have to ask, and I would tell every seller, just say, hey, we're not against the idea of paying a buyer's agent. Send over your offer, and then you net out all your offers, and you also want to select on the buyers are actually going to close in your time frame. Now, so beware of wholesalers. Watch out for renegotiation tactics. It's happened to us. You think there's a bidding war, and then someone wins it, and then they come in, and during their inspections, they're like, well, those are single pane windows. It's going to cost us $50,000 more, so we got to ask for a lower number. Now, they knew that we were borrowing the money to flip a home, high interest rates, and they squeezed us. I don't want that to happen to you. Of course, they knew the windows were single pane when they walked through the home. This was just a renegotiating tactic. We wound up not making money in the deal. Phil put in a lot of time. I think we may have even lost $1,000, and Phil's complete time was wasted because he's the one who was running the cruise. So I still feel bad to this day. That's why I brought it up. So watch out for renegotiation tactics, and there's ways to avoid that. You can change short time frames in the MLS. You can say, look, after this date, this money goes hard, your deposit goes hard, and there's ways to do that if you've got a lawyer on your team. You can't do that as a realtor. Realtors can't change the forms. I'll change the forms to make the money go hard, if that's what you want to do. Tricks to watch for. I think I just went over. There's so many. You just have to suss out your buyers. Like, for instance, if you're looking to close fast and you're wondering if these people have the cash, you're like, can you show me on the phone you've got the money to the bank account? Now, they may say, I have my money here with other investors. I get the cash from a hard money lender. I'd call the hard money lender and say, can you really do this in 24, 48 hours? And I'd say, hey, look, I want $2,000 fee to go hard that you'll lose if you don't close. I mean, that'll make most of the wholesalers run away. And now you'll be dealing with real people. But there's all different ways to do it. But just make sure you're happy that you're not going to get jerked around by your fast sale buyer. Otherwise, why not just do the normal process and just sell to a cash end buyer? Now, if you do it with a slightly more complicated system, for me, but not you, I'd say, why not bring in a real estate agent who says, look, like if you're talking to me, I might say, look, if you just want me to bring in offers, I'll use the MLS in my database, and if they win, great, I will make X on this deal. But you can still net that out. If you're saying, John, I want you to advise you all the way, I want you to help me with the disclosures because you explain to me how important it is and why I can sleep at night if I do that. I want you to work with me on the deal. I can work out a flat fee with you, put it on the MLS, and screen all the offers. However you want to work with us, because we like the fast cash buyers. Right? You know, it's good for business. We can, we have listings. It brings in buyers. I mean, it's just nice for our business. So we'd like to work with you. We can work with you on your terms, however you want to. But I can say that I would be surprised that we can't net you higher a much better net after we charge our fee. And if we don't, just use the fast cash buyers that we've either developed for you or that you've developed on your own. So essentially, when you're working with us, because you can get out, well, I'm not going to go into that. Anybody you work with, just make sure you have a very short time frame and can cancel, because the real estate market's changing. Because the MLS rules and NAR rules, realtors don't even know right now what they're going to be selling your home for, and if they're going to have to pay buyers, and if they can pay buyers, they don't even have the forms for it. Luckily, I'm an attorney and I can create the forms, but I would never sign a listing agreement with anybody that you couldn't cancel at any time with. Now, it's the equivalent of having a non-exclusive listing contract if you can cancel at any time, and you don't agree to a tail. Maybe you want a non-exclusive listing agreement where it's spelled out. If I find the buyers, we're not paying you unless I ask you to represent me. So, in recap, the selling to a fast cash buyer can be really cool. You can, using a great process, make more, net more, than you would just selling to a fast cash investor buyer or an eBuyer right away by focusing more on the investor buyer, keeping for their own portfolio, and buyers. Now, there's ways to find cash buyers with proper marketing, and if you've got the patience or the time, I suggest you bring in as many offers as possible, negotiate with the best ones, use techniques that won't, maybe you keep your best one on the side and you negotiate with the others and see what they can do to make themselves the best buyer and develop the highest net for you. My name's John McConnin. For more information about this, I'm going to put eventually this stuff up on sellersoptions.com because it's all part of our process. But if you just want to talk to us right now, you can go to flatfeeadvantage.com, just fill out the form, and we'll engage with you immediately because it's sent to our phone, and we'll try to pick up what we can, or we'll send you a text and talk to you. All right, thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.